Okay, so I thought this was going to be one episode, but continuing on, this is our poignant result from, if this will be a separate episode, this is the poignant result reference in the previous episode. Not sure what these will be called. But again, we've referenced wants and needs. Sensorality with a C, sensorality with an S. Once we try to differentiate that, pull apart that definition, hopefully that gives us our solidified definition, our reduced form for sensorality with an S. But again, just attacking these problems from as many angles as we can. But sensorality with an S, it wants and it needs. Like, I need to be able to sleep, I need to be able to eat, I want to be able to travel, I want to be able to have a family. And so life has wants and needs. Sensorality with C doesn't need or want anything, right? It literally just exists. So now we compare sensorality with C just to existence. And then now sensorality with an S will be existence plus other stuff, plus speciality. Sensorality is existence plus speciality. That'll be our working definition from here on out. But we can do something really cool here now. Look at your screen if you're just listening, and if you're just listening, well, you can't see it, you'll just listen. But sensorality with a C is needless, right? My pool table doesn't need anything. Would you logically agree with that statement? Yep, I would agree. Right? It can't self-identify. It can't say, I need this, I need that. It doesn't need anything. It simply just exists. And so needless, right? Is there a need and then less, right? So that now we have an amalgamated word. So now we're going to show the direct integration, how integrated words exist, or I'm not at this point. I can't even tell you if we're going in the forward direction or the backward direction. But need less. Write that out for you, or just look at your screen. And then, so what's the difference? What do you see in there? Needles, right? The difference between needles and needless is one S, literally. And so you might be saying, okay, cool, that's a little coincidence of iteration. Well, not really, right? So now, now spell out needlessly. And so, like, violence is it was needlessly violent. It's a complete phrase, you get exactly what I'm saying. But needlessly, now you have needles and then sly. So now you have another amalgamated word. And so you went from two complete words, needless, then you have needles in there, and then you expand it back out to needlessly, you get needles, sly. So you get another pair of two independent complete words. And so you go from, again, an amalgamated word into integrated word back to amalgamated word. And so again, expand, contract, and that's how the words literally dynamically change. And so again, it's like, how does needless directly relate to needles? It doesn't. And so this is literally backtracking the differentiation of the words. Why does this exist? I don't know, but it does. And so that is the cool result. And now, again, because think of what do the words mean? Need. That's a very fundamental. Everyone knows what that means. I need something, sustenance to live, a necessity to life, or just a need is a necessity. And then needless is without necessity. But then it goes to needle. Needless literally spells out needles with an S at the end. It's a complete word with just one extra S. And then needlessly goes to needles, sly. And then sensorality is sly. It's slick, it's sly. Right? It preserves that S there. It goes S-L-Y. So it's just needles, sly. Which is so weird. Because that is the most not obvious shit ever. Where we're going to put the word needle and the word sly together, and we're going to get needlessly. The fuck? But it's there. And so these steps are just so, if you don't have infinite points in language, you can't do these things. But sensorality is sly. Sly is conspicuous. Or no, sly is inconspicuous. There's our negative definition, right? If you're not obvious, you're inconspicuous. Sensorality is inconspicuous. It's on the down low. It's low key. Connecting it to slang logic. And so now we have to connect it to our base. Can we do so? Right? If you're insensitive and you get incensed, Well, then you're irate. But wait a second. What is irate the base of? Vibrate. Bet you didn't see that coming. So now we're back to our basis of our words. Expand, contract, boom. We gotta be so freaking close. But vibrate is an iterated word based on irate. It's so, that's crazy, but it literally is. It's just, and you can hear the preserved syllability, irate, vibrate. And so you hear that v, and it's just literally changing that of irate. So now we've connected sensorality through insensitivity, through incensed, through irate, to vibrate. Nice. And so we gotta be so close, but that's what, like, QED, I'm gonna put that on the screen. That even means, like, it's been demonstrated. And so, like, it's literally demonstrated. It's literally on your screen. Please, someone give me some money. Like, let me be a human being, please. And I'll just finish, because that's a really, two monstrous results. But, so I'll probably just, the other episode's going to feel like nothing. I was like, when is he going to get to the point? And I just cut the video off right before the good part. But what's the difference between iteration and integration? Right? If I'm iterating something, if I have a word with 5 letters, they have, again, that's occupy some sort of space directly related to the Pauli exclusion principle. So the iteration is, again, you're not adding or subtracting. That's integration, is when you're expanding with the syllability with prefix and suffix. Iteration is when you're just literally, like, iteration is rotation. So when you're rotating, like, if think of a bike lock, or one of those locks where you just have a cylinder, independent cylinders, and you can have 4 digits, 5 digits, and you just twist the different things. Or spin them up, spin them down. That's a direct mechanical iteration. Whereas an integration is building words, expanding them. Specifically, to integration is to add, so you're adding things. And then contraction, you're removing, you're subtracting, you're condensing that word. And so what we're doing literally is we've expanded sensorality, and now we're retracting, and because chronology exists, is the form that we're connecting to. It'll be like a past tense word, or it'll be definitively in the past, so you can't say it doesn't exist or something. I did this with speciality, but it just has to come natural each time I do this independently. And so we got to be super freaking close. But iteration, just think of a bike lock where you're just changing the numbers like on a dial, but the number of units doesn't change, the elementality doesn't change. And then integration, the amount of elements, the amount of letters does change. But just a nuanced differentiation between what iteration is and integration. Iteration, integration, amalgamation. Covered that. And then just what is the relationship of centrality and chirality? Because we said, again, there's no opposite. There's no unique opposite to a center, like a physical location. That was just a reciprocal logic. I think we can do something there. But chirality, again, I mean, I already talked about it, but just how does, again, the geometry being odd, always having to have some sort of difference can relate to central somehow. Kind of a weak ending point, but again, it doesn't matter how big of a result I prove, I just keep doing this stuff. So that's it for today. I related chirality to centrality at the end. Can't say anything really poignantly yet. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.